Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Mantra number 9. Sava ayam purushaha jayamanaha shariram abhisampadhyamanaha papmabhihi samsrijyate saha utkramanna mriyamanaha papmanaha vijahati. So then this being, who is this being? The one that is powered by the light of consciousness. And so this being who is, in the waking state as a jiva, what does the person do? Obtains a body. Custom orders a body. Based on what? Desires. Ragadveshas. From where? Where did this, Ragadveshas come from? Previous life. Where did the previous Ragadveshas come from? Previous life. Where did the previous Ragadvesha come from? Previous life. Oh, when was the first life? No first life. Anadi. No beginning to the Ragadveshas. Thankfully, but an end is there. So, this, so ordains for himself, herself, this jiva, a body, a female body, male body, based on whatever one wants to experience. Very interesting. So, in a way, Ishvara gives the body, but the jiva asks for it. So, the jiva is a co-creator of this Jagat along with Ishvara. Jiva puts in a request. Yeah, please, this is what I want. Ishvara says, Tathastu. So be it. Runs with the desire. So, and then the body that is gained is what is that? Is a gift of Papa and Punya. And here Papmabhi samyujya samyujyate it is said. Only Papa is talked about because, Punya is not worth mentioning because Punya is good merit. It is always there. It's only things that bother the Upanishad talks about. So the Sharira, this body, this Shariram, is a heap of Papa come to life. And that's why, when you send a swab from the inside of the cheek and mail it off, then you get a whole list of all the diseases that this body could get. Some of it is inherited, some of it God knows where. And then you start seeing A for Alzheimer's, from starting with Alzheimer's to something else, everything that is a potential. Hiranyagarbha, really, it's a potential waiting to manifest. And one wants to live long. The longer you live, the more the chance for all these, papas to come out and say hello. They come out and play. So, Papmabhihi samsrijyamanaha samyujyate, and, gains this body made of Papa and Punya. Little bit of Punya and a lot of Papa. Mishra. That should be the last name of everybody. In fact, Mishra is an Indian last name. That is why. Little bit of Papa, little bit of Punya. If you had only Papa, then one would be in an animal body because they don't know how to express themselves. Mostly a pain body. If you are predominantly Punya, very little Papa, then or no Papa, then you would be Indra, Yama, etc. Celestial. Yaksha, Kinnara, Gandharva, all these celestial beings. But then Papa Punya mix up always lands one in Bhuloka, in this world of human beings. Then Papmabhihi samsrijyate gets joined with Papa, and then, lest you think this is real, as soon as that life and those experiences are over, leaves this whole thing, package is left, and then goes somewhere else. Tasmin sandhye sthane, goes somewhere else, and before going somewhere else, tasmin sandhye sthane tishthan ete ubhe sthane pashyati idam cha paraloka sthanam cha atha yatha akramah ayam paraloka sthane bhavati. So then, then this person, who is this person? This jiva, who has given up all the experiences of this state, getting ready to die, dying to this state, is now looking to what is yet to come. Correct? Looking to the afterlife, and is in between this life and afterlife, as though, and Adi Shankara says, as though like a fork in between two roads, one road leading to village number 1, second road leading to village number 2, and the person is standing at the crossroads of two villages. So the jiva is standing there. Correct? Mm-hmm. And then what is that state? That state could be like a in-between state, and here it is called the dream state. Yeah. Sleep being equated to death, where one is completely dead to everything, and the dream state is that in-between state, neither awake nor asleep, neither alive nor dead. It's not quite a state, but for the sake of an argument, Adi Shankara says we have to take it like a state, which is at the junction, and then it says that, based on again the raga dveshas that one has in the dream state, one conjures up pleasant and unpleasant experiences. Being marauded by a group of elephants. What is that? Unpleasant experiences, obviously. Singing bhajan somewhere, and having the Ishta Devata manifest itself in the dream, obviously pleasant experiences. And so undergoes pleasant and unpleasant experiences where in the dream state, just like where in the waking state, or like in paraloka, going to some other loka afterlife, also encounters pleasant and unpleasant experiences. So these things continue because nothing is real. So when this world is left, this is dying, dying, dying. That one which was left, dying, dying, dying. And the one that is brings to light the fact that both these worlds are dying, 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 is the one that is unchanging. Living in the world of dying, 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 this is neither dying, nor coming, nor becoming alive, and it is free of death, free of birth, and unchanging. So this Atma, this light of Atma is what it is. And then, then it says that, then in the dream, this, pleasant and unpleasant experiences ensue. And, all kinds of pleasant and unpleasant experiences ensue. And then, in the dream, the person himself, herself, is the light, not separate from the light. And then you have a customizable universe, because it's a blank slate, the dream. Na tatra anandaha mudaha pramudaha bhavanti. 10th mantra. Na tatra anandaha mudaha pramudaha bhavanti. Atha anandaha mudaha pramudaha srijate. There is no happiness, there is no little bit of happiness, there is no little more happiness. Priya, Moda, Pramoda, all these gradations, not there. But what does the person do? What does this light of lights do? Creates it. Na tatra rathaha, no cars or chariots. What does the person do? Creates the chariot. And how can the chariot go if there is no road? Creates the road. How? Just sankalpa matrena, by the intention itself is the creation in this place, in this magical dream place. So the animals are there because the animals have to pull the chariot, horse, bullock, etc. And those are also created. And the animals and the chariots are connected by a yoke and reins. Those are also created, And then what? You need a nice scenery. You need some pools, rivers, trees, and then those are not there as the chariot is going. Clop, 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 clop. And then what? Then all those things, the scenery comes into being magically. Just by the intentionality, everything. Why? Sahi karta, the 10th mantra concludes, that person alone is the karta. Karta means what? Doer, agent of this dream world. Agent of this dream world. This radiant being, this infinite light of all lights, this Purusha, puts the body aside, the mind aside, everything in the dream state, and creates a different body mind sense complex in keeping with the karma, and enjoys pleasant and unpleasant experiences. And then what? Then the Shukramadaya punaha eti sthanam hiranmayam purushaha ekaha hamsaha. And then, then taking these shining functions, So this is just basically the thing, then the person goes out of this space called the being of light. The being of light, which is stationary and unchanging, as though goes out and creates this dream state and enjoys it. And both is the creator, so to speak, and the enjoyer, even though nothing is created. This is talked about later. In the dream, the person is not the karta, only the bhokta, only experiences are there. Prabala prarabdha is experience. Like if you dream, for example, that you have been incarcerated. That means some prarabdha was there to be beaten up and put in jail. That was just a weak karma, and so that was exhausted in the dream. This is what the whole thing is. So, experiences all these things and goes out of the nest, and the nest here means that source of light without any creation, and goes out and then, takes on innumerable forms. Innumerable forms. And that's why the people say, do not violently rouse a sleeping person. Why? Because they are very minimally connected to the waking state by a small thread. The Sukshma Sharira is gone somewhere, roaming, flying in the world of Ratha, chariots and roads and rivers, pools, trees, etc., having a wonderful joyride. The body is here, and that there is a minimal connection between the consciousness that is so to speak roaming and the body on the bed that is stationary. That's why the elders say, do not rouse them violently. Don't go and, what is that? Take a balloon and put a pin on it and explode the balloon next to the ear of a sleeping person, because they may be in this REM state, and when they come back violently, and the doctors cannot treat them because they can come back with deafness, they can be blinded, something like that, because the connection to the organs, the vital organs, could be lost. Very interesting here. And the Upanishad discusses this. Yeah, the Upanishad says, that the person may be, the person is sporting in the dream. Everybody sees the person sleeping on the bed. Nobody sees the sport. They see the lying down body. The body that is, sleeping, unmoving, but they don't see all that internal movement. Nobody sees. And that's why, even if they are making some movement with the body, they don't know what is happening here, inside the mind and inside the subtle ways in which this light is identified with that subtle world of the dream and is creating subtle objects, including giving itself a body. And then the doctors and the elders say, do not rouse this person violently, because they may be seeing some frightening things, or they may be seeing some pleasant things. You have no way of saying, and so therefore what? Durbhishajyam ha asmai bhavanti yameshana pratipadyate atho khalu vahuhu atho khalvahuhu jagarita desha evasyeshah. So supposing the person is violently woken up, that person becomes a challenge for the doctors. Durbhishajyam, and then this is what the whole thing is. And therefore what? Therefore don't wake up this person violently. And then what? Having enjoyed the dream state and and then roaming in the dream state, enjoying pleasant and then going through unpleasant experiences, and then what happens, and then what happens here is that Yajnavalkya trails off, stops talking. And then what happens? 1,000 cows are brought into the picture. Soham bhagavate sahasram dadami. I give you 1,000 cows, begs Janaka. See, I am not making it up. Yeah. So, I give you 1,000 cows. Ata urdhvam vimokshaya bruhi iti. All this is so interesting. Please tell me more. Why? Because I want to know the dream state. No, I want moksha, vimoksha, that which is going to free me from being the dreamer, from being the waker, from being the sleeper. That's what I want to know. Tell me more, tell me more. 1,000 cows I'm giving to you. Please don't stop talking. All right, says Yajnavalkya, And then what? And then he explains this in further, Then, he is in between two states. Now what? The dream and the sleep, correct? So then from the dream, he can either wake up, he means jiva here, masculine, wakes up, or from the dream goes into a sleep state. And who is this person in sleep? The light of all lights, ayameva purushaha, antar jyotihi, same Jyoti. Jyoti goes to sleep? No. The Jyoti identifies with the status of being the sleeper, as though. Light doesn't go to sleep. That's why I said the light is never switched off, even in sleep. I told you this yesterday itself. It's a light which doesn't have a switch. It's always on, without a switch. But that which switches from waking dream to sleep, deep sleep, without undergoing any change. Very interesting. So now, this is the dream state. The dream state is now abandoned. Let's say after the dream, the person sinks back into a formless, nameless thing called sleep. And then what happens in sleep? Nothing happens in sleep. And then we can also say everything happens in sleep. The sleep is a very interesting state, because analysis of the sleep state is really moksha. Because he said, Vimokshaya bruhi, tell me this so that I can free myself from being this pendulum, waker, dreamer, same ragadveshas operating. Bingo, sleep state is being discussed now. Where are the ragadveshas?
Gone.
Asleep. Yeah, gone means we would be celebrating. Yeah, asleep. Where is the world? Whether it's the so-called empirical real world or the dream world that appears as real, where is it? Where is it? Gone, not there, not available for transaction, neither of the worlds. Neither the make-believe world of the dream nor the so-called real world of the waking is available to the sleeping person. In the dream state, at least there is a dream body, correct? Here, no dream body, no mind, no senses, and the body is lying motionless here, available for objectification by other wakers, but not available by objectification by the sleeping person. So you can go like this to the sleeping person, if the hand is like this, you can take the hand and put it there. They have no idea. You can take them in a cart and, put them on a plane. And then, let's imagine they are sedated, deep sleep. And then, put them on a flight to New York. And then they wake up. But the flight is reaching New York. No idea how they got there, correct? So, this is the sleep. And then what happens? And then from the sleep comes back to the dream, comes back to the waking, and untouched by whatever happens in the states. And then, and then again, Yajnavalkya does what he knows best, stops talking. Then he says, Sahasram soham bhagavate dadami, 1,000 more cows, please accept, vimokshaya bruhi iti vimokshaya eva, only for moksha. I'm not interested in the sleep state, I'm not interested in the dream state, I'm not interested in, what to do with this dreaming, sleeping business. Please instruct me only about moksha. Because the last 1,000 cows got exhausted quickly because, not much instruction was given. So another 1,000 cows. You see, this shows the ayasa, the difficulty that the student has to undergo in order to gain this knowledge and not to shy away from giving up whatever one needs to gain this knowledge. It's not the cows, yeah. You have to travel, you have to stop complaining, you stop complaining, and you have to be ready to listen, you firm up your own being as a student in order to listen. And when that doesn't work, you go further, deeper, and craft yourself as a student, as a recipient of this knowledge. That's what the cows, symbolize. Cows symbolize the ability to not keep having a cow. Yeah, having a cow means ragadvesha. Yeah, you don't have a cow here. That's why you give it away to the teacher. Okay? Yeah. And then, here, then what happens, he says, please, give me instructions. And then again he speaks a little bit. That's not important because he just repeats what we have already done. And then stops talking. And again he says, please take 1,000, 1,000 more cows, and then tell me what is this moksha. This moksha, he says, is, can be seen in the alternative consciousness between sleep and dream states here. In sleep, one is dead to the world. In the dream, one has a customizable, reality, so to speak. And he gives a nice analogy. It's like a fish that is moving to this bank to see if there are some algae to eat. And then it flies off, almost swims to the other bank and eats a few little baby fish swimming over there. Then it crosses over to this bank and eats something more. So with which ease this fish goes from this bank to another bank, so too the Atma as though goes from sleep to dream without any effort whatsoever. And another example is given, like a falcon, an eagle or a vulture. It's been flying all day in search of something to grab and eat, and then now it is tired, it has to go home, and it doesn't have the energy to fly. What does it do? It just outstretches its wings and just glides back to its nest. So too the I goes back to itself in sleep. That's why it is Ananda. No raga, no dvesha, no annoying things in the dream or in the waking. It's all Ananda. And what is this Ananda, he asks? He says this Ananda is being united with the source, and the sleep is an experience of, the best form of non-duality ever. Sleep is oneness, where the falcon has gone to the nest to rest. And the nest here is what? That inner light has come back to itself. No names, no forms, no experiences, no raga, no dvesha, no make-believe forms, no empirical forms, no imaginary forms, nothing. But you cannot say nothing, because it is itself, it is with itself, it is joined with itself. And so he says the clue to Ananda is union of, that light with itself. It's the coming home experience, it's the homecoming in the form of sleep. Then what does he do? Stops talking. Yeah. And then what does the king do?
Cows.
What? Gives him 1,000 more cows. Yeah, but we are so close. Don't stop now. You can't stop now. You've been talking about the sleep state. And then further, the instruction is given. The sleep state is special because the sleep state reveals the I as naturally free of desires. No desires. And then if one could think in a sleep state, one would be thinking of oneself as what? I am everything, as it were. The whole universe is myself alone. But they cannot think in the sleep state because what? There is no possibility to think. There is no thinker separate from that. Separate from this experience. So there is no one awakened to this experience either, because this experience and the experience has engulfed the experiencer and is one with the experiencer. This is what it is. This is what the whole thing is. There is nothing to desire, because everything the person desires is himself, herself, non-separate from himself, herself. So what is there? A separate desire doesn't exist. A craving doesn't exist. And neither is there some kind of a separation from the object of desire, because objects themselves are not there. Where is the separation? One is one with everything. And one does not see anything other than oneself. What is that? Nasaha anyat pashyati. Does not see anything separate from oneself. Nasaha anyat shrinoti. Does not hear anything other than oneself. Nasaha anyad vijanati. There is nothing to know, including this experience. Is not an object of knowledge, because it is what it is. It is already there. That's why everyone loves to go to sleep. And no one wants to wake up. But in the waking state and the dreaming state, how is this different? In the waking, anyaha san, anyat pashyati. See, remaining separate, experiences something separately, knows something separately, desires something separate from oneself, and then craves for that separation to come to an end. Here, there is neither desire nor separation, nor the craving for that oneness, because that oneness is already there. Like a tired falcon roaming around in search of all kinds of, objects of prey, goes to prey. Goes to itself. Goes to its nest, so to speak. And so, this is home. And what is home? Home is Om. Om is home. One is at home with Om. But then what happens? Same thing that has happened. Yajnavalkya stops talking. Then what happens? More cows into the picture. Then what happens? We'll see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.